What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel.
Do we see, according to Cuban Canes, and I've heard this question from a number of people, Cam, is there a possibility that Tate Martell, and you've addressed this to a certain extent, but the player that's being brought to mind is the former BYU quarterback, Taysom Hill, who is now the relief for Drew Brees in those set packages for the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, that's a piece that our guy Justin DeTavio wrote this week, evaluating how, if Tate Martell is not the starting quarterback, envisioning a Taysom Hill-like package for him here in Miami. And obviously, you have to feel the game and everything. You don't really want to rotate quarterbacks, but if you have a dynamic player, an athletic player where you can utilize and leverage that athleticism to your advantage, then you should do that. So yeah, go check out On State of the U. It's a piece by Justin DeTavio, who wrote about that. And I mean, that is possible. I don't know what Manny or Dan Enos would do. I mean, they're new. Dan Enos is new here. We've seen him do some things in some other places, but the offense for him is very malleable. It can be changed according to the personnel that you have. So I don't know if he's going to do that. Manny Diaz, this is his first time as a head coach. I have no clue if that's something that he would even entertain doing. Does Tate Martell have the athleticism and fit the athletic profile to be that Taysom Hill kind of Cordell Stewart, slash role, when he was in Pittsburgh with the Steelers with Taysom Hill for the Saints? Is that possible or potentially possible? Yes, it absolutely is. I think that, and Justin, he wrote a piece and he really detailed the ways in which that is potentially possible. It remains to be seen. Obviously, if Tate Martell is starting, then you're not going to have a special package of that nature because he's your starting quarterback and you can't have your starting quarterback out there catching passes down the seam or anything like that. I remember that one time, Robert Griffin, when he was at Baylor, they ran a half toss and then they sent him down the middle of the field for a pass. And he got blasted by a safety. And I'm like, what are you doing? No, that's supposed to be a toss. And you go towards the sideline so you can step out of bounds, not past the middle backer in between two high safeties. What are you doing? So we're not going to do that with Tate Martell, especially if he's starting. But I mean, if he's not starting, then, you have to look at the players that you have on the team and find ways to get them the ball and, be successful on offense. And if that is one way, then fine.
So on the recruiting front, Cam, we've got Ben Pratt, who is asking about going after Tyreek Murphy.
Tyreek Murphy.
Familiar with him? Let's see.
Tirek Murphy, running back. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I was thinking Tyreek spelled differently. Tyreek Murphy from he's from New York. He goes to Christ the King Regional. Hold on, I got to look it up.
I understand, sure. Cam. I apologize too. Understand out there that Cam takes these questions on the fly, and how many kids are out there playing high school football at a reasonable level to be recruited by Group of Five and Power Five teams that I'm just throwing names at him and expecting him to come through with, 6'3", 214, plays outside linebacker. He might be a tweener, and go through the whole scouting report, and which he does 99.9% of the time.
Hey, I appreciate it. I live and breathe recruiting. It's I do it a lot. That was why I got into blogging to start with. But anyway, Tyreek Murphy, 6 foot 220. Sorry, he's a big dude, 220, from Christ the King Regional. That is the same school from which Miami got 2 signees this past class in offensive lineman Adam El Gamal and defensive tackle Jared Harrison Hunt from Middle Village, New York. He is a guy who has an offer. Obviously, he came down with both Harrison Hunt and El Gamal previously last cycle when they visited or took unofficials down here to Miami and everything like that. So he's a name that's on the board. I don't think that Miami's going to push for him at a running back. Honestly, like I said, we have 3 top-tier options within an hour's ride from campus. Jalen Knighton from Deerfield Beach High School, Henry Parrish from Miami Columbus, and then Don Chaney Jr., who's already committed from Belen Jesuit. And that's just in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. That's not even going to Palm Beach. That's not even going to anywhere else in the state of Florida or the Southeast even. I didn't even go regionally, talking about Joe Quavius Marks from Atlanta. You know what I mean? Or, I didn't, but you're talking about going way up there for, a big back guy. I do see where the value could be on having a big back. And I know that, previously we had Chalk Gray and we didn't use him to the greatest, usage or greatest, expertise. Obviously, he's 6'2", 235, running a 4.37 on his pro day at Miami. And you think, wow, why didn't we, previous offense? But Tyreek Murphy, I mean, you would have to leapfrog a lot of dudes, a lot of really high caliber quality guys locally and regionally to go there and get him in spite of, or to spite these other guys. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a thing where you get Knighton and Chaney and Tyreek Murphy. So, I mean, he has an offer. He's from a school where we just got two guys. His recruitment right now is between Notre Dame and Michigan, just staying up in the, Midwest or, northern part of the country. And I think that that's probably a better fit for him because of what they want to do. And it's a better fit for us because, like I wrote in the recruiting rules, rule number 3, I believe it is, you have to recruit locally first and nationally second. And I do not mean this as any kind of disrespect, but if you're going to go out of state for a running back, I'm going to need him to be a first-round draft pick. I spoke previously to a well-known, very well-known college coach, and who was very far away from where he worked when I spoke to him down here in South Florida, and I was like, "Wow, like you're you, and everybody knows your face. What are you doing over here, like way far away from wherever it is that you work?" And he said, yeah, my school, they send me out here for first-round draft picks. And I think that's what Miami would have to do. If Tyreek Murphy, if you think that he's a first-round draft pick, you go out of state to try and get him. And, I mean, especially when you're recruiting running backs at a position of strength. When we're looking for offensive linemen, look, it's y'all come. Like when I was teaching choir and it was like I needed boys, hey, come on. Yep, if you're living and breathing and you're a boy, come on to my program. If you're an offensive lineman, hey, you're living and breathing and you're 6'3", and maybe 250, come on to the program. But
if
Tyreek
the kid couldn't carry a note,
absolutely. No, I mean, I'm a musician. I've been a musician my entire life. I can teach you how to, you're not going to be, the best singer in the world, but I can teach you how to sing. But that's beside the point. My point was really? when you are not in a position of strength, you're going to take any option available. At running back with Tyreek Murphy, though he's a 4-star, though he's a good option, I would say that he's not good enough for me to forego the local players who are available to skip up and get him. So I don't think he's a viable, realistic option, but he does have an offer, and he comes from a school that we just signed 2 players from. So stranger things have happened.
But considering that Cam checked out the scrimmage last week, and then, of course, the finale is this Saturday, the obvious question is, Cam, what are you expecting to see? What is going to catch your eye? What are you looking for? What do you want to see? And one more side note, everyone else with your comments and questions, most of them will still be valid up until the first week of August. So hang tight and continue to ask them.
Yeah. Mark's last point is good. Like, yeah, I mean, there still is a lot of time. So I know people are asking about predictions and, depth chart and things like that. We'll get there. Promise. Position previews, all those kind of things. For one, I'm not going up to Orlando just because, it's Easter weekend, and I just decided that I didn't want to make that drive, and I have a couple other things going on down here. In general, I mean, Gabriel Urrutia is going to be up there, our beat writer. He's doing such great work. You really need to be following him on Twitter. I think it's Gabby U22 or something like that. And then, I mean, obviously just reading on the website as well, just on stateoftheu.com, because he's doing yeoman's work. He's another guy, like I said, we've had so many guys who come through our website and, they grow their skills and their brand, and, they turn that into other jobs, other places. I mean, and he's on that path. Like, Gabriel Urrutia is a really, really talented individual. You need to be reading what he's writing honestly and truly, and I don't say that because he writes for me, because there are other people whom I read religiously on certain topics, and Gabby Urrutia is growing into one of those people for the Canes. So please be writing that. Now, for what I'm looking for in the spring, the final spring game, which, depending on the individuals in the stands, I might actually be able to put eyes on. Hint, hint. But nobody from State of the U, because obviously we would not do such a thing. I want to see what happens with the quarterbacks. Obviously, I want to see them, and more than just completing passes. I want to see the operation at the line. Like, N'Kosi Perry checked from a pass play. No, he checked from a couple of times. He checked from a pass play to a run that went for 12. He checked from a run to a pass that he overthrew slightly to the back of the end zone in a red zone situation, but it was the right read, and it was the right check, the right read, and the right throw, or the right throw decision, even though the throw could have been slightly better. But a throw like that to the back of the end zone should either be a touchdown or incompletion, not an interception. So on that part, that was, done well. So things like that, operating the offense, getting out of the huddle on time. And obviously we didn't really, I should have, but, checking the penalties and things, because there were multiple times that it would have been a delay of game, but obviously in a scrimmage, you're going to kind of let that go so the offense gets the rep, but you got to go back and look at those things. So, quarterback for one, offensive line for two is a thing, who plays where, what is the rotation, what is their effectiveness, and things like that. And then, just, want to see the progression of the young guys, and see, the progression of the young guys. So that would be three. And then wide receivers. I just want to see I want to see those guys catch the ball cleanly every time. I don't want to talk about, it was tight coverage or the throw or and, hopefully the throws are in an advantageous position. But just the same kind of things that we're looking at already. And obviously, knocking on wood, no injuries, no more injuries. We have a bunch of guys who are already out for a variety of reasons. And we really don't need any more of that. Hopefully these things that have been, these injuries have been sustained recently are not season ending. Bradley Jennings Jr., I'm really not hopeful for that because it looked very bad. But we don't need any more injuries. No more Zach McLeod with a wrist or John Ford with a wrist or, a minor knee scope for two wide receivers, for different issues. I don't want to see any of that, so that would be the number 5. But, really, just no injuries getting through it, a clean operation on offense, obviously quarterbacks playing well, offensive line, and then, the young guys in the secondary, just like the guy asked about. Those would be the things that I would want to see or hear about, evaluating from this final spring game and then just moving forward.
Thank you for watching this video. If you are an ACC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in ACC football, keep it right here.